Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Owlet Season 4. My name is Juggle God, and I am joined here in the casting booth with Mintus and Llama for this match pitting Phoenix versus Hyperion. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, man.
Yeah, doing well as well. Excited about this first match, or I guess second match of the evening.
Yeah, so coming into today, I'm really excited to see how far our two teams have came since we've last seen them. Hyperion played in the Owlet Minors League, the 3.5 regular season last season, and they came third/fourth in playoffs. So it'll be very interesting to see how they end up playing today compared to their previous results. While Phoenix has been around for about 2.5 years playing together, they've kept 3 of their 6 core members over this entire period. And to see their progress as well, these two teams, it should be a great match.
Absolutely. I'm especially impressed by Hyperion too. They're apparently currently playing in Prospects Esports Season 3, so they're tied for second right now in another tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle themselves between both tournaments.
Yeah, Llama, what are your thoughts on these two teams? How do you think they're going to stack up against one another?
You know, this is my first time watching both these teams play, and I'm quite excited. From what I see from the rosters, it looks like they both have some great teams out there. I'm excited to see how they both perform.
And agreed. And coming out of the gates, I imagine we're going to see some brawl from Phoenix. Sounds like that is one of their favorite compositions to run. I don't really have a good feel, though, for what we're going to see from Hyperion. Do you have any idea, Mintus?
I'm going to have to guess that they will not opt into the more popular rush meta. I think a lot of their players have skill sets on heroes that tend to deal better with comps that aren't rush. You got things like Genji, Echo, a lot of other DPS heroes that involve a Mercy Pocket, things like Pharah, Hanzo. I wouldn't be surprised to see if they try to go for more of a counter rush style rather than opting into rush.
All right, here we are. Countdown's going. Matches started. Looks like we've got a couple of sims on each team. Probably going to see the TP from both sides. Yep, there it is.
This is an interesting strategy here, running the Pharah and the McCree. It is popularly seen, but...
Oh, nice pick from Max on the opposing Reinhardt. Looks like we're gonna have them taking point first.
The Beast drops his window. Max pins right through it, gets Lexi demeched on the point. Looks like she's gonna die soon. Let's see if they can follow up on that. There she goes.
Good follow-up, good follow-up.
Right now we have the Pharah and the Mercy covering the point. Trying to look for some more picks on the engage. But blue team is 5 people strong coming back in against the 4 of red team.
Wow, and an early barrage from the King, but gets picked off.
I would like to point out how fast that BAP was... how fast that BAP did get his window up. That was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we saw
a lot of AoE heals coming out from that team. That's absolutely true. And we see blue team coming in with the TP, trying to get across against this comp that's designed to deal with Brawl very effectively on rotations. Looks like they're setting up for a TP on left side. Will they get it?
This Pharah is putting immense amount of pressure onto this team here.
Oh, Nat gets caught out!
Ooh, that's gonna create, that's gonna set them back a little bit. They're gonna have to wait and regroup. Another pick comes through.
Yep, they just decided to reset as the King gets another boop off the map. The rest of the team decides to follow, but the King gets all of that ult charge, which means rotating into next, they've got a huge barrage potential.
That's true, and in general, it just kind of looks like Hyperion's coming in with a distinct ult advantage.
This Pharah,
another rotation.
This Pharah is putting in quite a lot of work, putting quite a lot of damage, building those barrages fast.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a McCree sneaking around the outside, used his flashbang. Caught the enemy McCree out as well.
Lexi gets a huge eat on that Mail coming into this fight. Let's see if Hyperion can recover. I think they get the nice res off onto the McCree there. And the rest of the fight just kind of goes that way.
Yep. So far, seeing a pretty dominant performance from Hyperion.
Yeah, this counter rush comp is doing a lot of work into the, the rush comp that Phoenix has decided to opt into right off the bat. And going into this next fight, they have a couple of key ultimates that can disrupt the rotation. Once again, this barrage is going to get a ton of value if they don't have anything to deal with it.
Absolutely.
They have to start doing something about this fire. This fire is doing way too much work.
Yeah. The King is popping off.
All that damage coming through. 3 people are already gone.
Yeah. Charge the point did not end up well for Max, unfortunately.
Hyperion gonna pretty much close this out single-handedly. 100-0, no percentage gained from the side of Phoenix. And the first point goes to Hyperion.
Yeah, very, very dominant performance. And I think, like you were saying, Llama, that Pharah really, I think, was the difference maker, that map. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, that Pharah was putting in a lot of work, lots of spam damage, and getting those early key picks. Most of the time, the other team did not have a full team for a full fight.
Now, what do you think you do as Phoenix to come back from that? Do you make any swaps? Do you change your focus? What do you think?
Well, going into this map, I gotta say that both teams are definitely going to opt into similar compositions. The most popular meta composition for this specific point is going to be Junkrat Symmetra Brawl. You meet in White Room, and the explosions start to happen. Let's see what happens.
The explosions have started, that is for sure.
Looks like both Junkrats are laying in a lot of spam. The King getting a little bit of an edge over 7 Maples in that regard.
Yeah.
Phoenix's shields are going down quickly. They're running out of Matrix. Their Sims are both charged up. Let's see who wins this.
Very high charge, and it looks like this one is going to go the way of Phoenix. So, can they hold on to it for the whole map? We'll find out.
They're off to a very strong start here compared to last map.
This fire coming in from the King, though. He's looking for an engage with it. The Beast actually dropped his lamp already. It could get a huge pick here if he finds somebody. And there it is. He gets 2. He gets both the Rhine and the Baptiste. And in Brawl, without that front line and without that sustained healing, you can't stay there for long. The Sim Wall coming down from Nat now as well. Stuffing things with Shatter gets completely negated. And Vic drops that sound barrier to try to re-engage.
Another Junkrat tire coming out.
Oh my!
A huge tire takes out 3, and they're gonna hold that point for the second fight.
2 fights in a row now for Phoenix. Going into this next one, they really need to maintain momentum and try to get some of those ults back. CS is still out of his mech, and he needs to get that ASAP.
All right, mech is back. That's big. That's good for them. Although they've got a grab that they're going to have to... Phoenix has got a grab coming up against them that they're going to have to deal with somehow. I hope the Beast can hold on to his immortality.
Yeah, that immortality field is key to countering that ultimate, and Vic being down early means they can't disengage anymore. Here it comes.
Oh, Max got in trouble. And Hyperion took advantage of that. Looks like they're going to eventually get it back. Yep.
Vic dying early definitely made it a lot easier to set up that Graviton Surge. And CS being a little disoriented after being demech'd led to that easy grab into an easy fight win.
Early Earth Shatter coming out of Earth Shatter in response from Max into a charge, but he gets picked off by Rhine. And the King with another big tire. We're seeing a lot of big Junkrat plays tonight.
Junkrat has been a very popular pick lately with just the amount of damage he can do if you can land those bombs quite right. Even the tires can be such a huge team fight differential.
Yeah. And it looks like those Junkrats are like, oh my gosh, huge, huge, huge. Window comes out, catches Ryan, catches Junkrat, catches Lucio. Phoenix is sent backpacking to their spawn.
Hyperion is going to definitely try to make the most out of winning these consecutive fights, maintaining that ultimate advantage, but it's not going to last for long. Phoenix is coming back in here with their sound barrier, their tire, and their Diva Bomb. A ton of tools to create space and capitalize on it. Now let's see what they decide to use first. I'm expecting the Junkrat tire.
Yeah, I would think so too, although they could engage with the Diva Bomb as well.
A lot of options for them going into this next fight. They're coming out in White Room at the moment.
Yep.
Lexi doesn't have the personal barrier, and she's going to go down first with the lamp coming shortly after. The High Noon trying to maintain that space while they stand in White Room. 6v5 still on the map here. They're going to come out now, look for that aggressive beat, that aggressive tire. Both the window and the tire being popped at the same time. The tire on the side gets the King, the bomb shortly afterwards, and it's going to blow up and absolutely destroy Phoenix on this point. Sorry, Hyperion.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Phoenix coming back. Looks like they're going to take it, although Hyperion's doing a very, very good job of stalling out the point. Although I think Lissaru, yep, she's down now, so that does it for them. I tell you, it looks like Phoenix really found their footing on this map. I think we're in for a good match overall.
I have to agree. Now watch as Hyperion decides to take a longer rotation through White Room again. They're meeting there super early. There comes the window, the shatter. Both sides being laid out. And it looks like Hyperion is taking the advantage here. That beat from Vic was just a little too late to save anybody, and they're coming into this 4v6. The tire lines it up and knocks it down. That grab off the point, almost securing this victory.
Yeah, again, the King with that tire. Can anyone touch it? Looks like Junk might. Oh no, he gets booped away. I'm assuming that was from Lissaru, from her on that Lucio. All right, and Hyperion takes it. First map goes to them.
Here we see the King getting play of the game with their amazing fireplace. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, look at how much work the King was doing disrupting the rotations during this map. I think that was the difference maker on the first one. And who was it on Junk? It was the King again. It was the King again on Junk, second map as well. So I think we're seeing a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? We're seeing a lot of standout play from the King.
The flex CPS from the side of Hyperion definitely putting a lot of the team on his back there, and it's kind of his, it's his role in the counter rush composition. The flex DPS is typically the source of the large amount of damage and disruption on rotations that you kind of expect out of him. And for him to step up and fill those shoes effectively in almost every single fight, it's really good to see from the side of Hyperion.
Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing ults coming out of there as well. The heals were absolutely great. It was just overall a great map to watch.
It's really interesting to see how these two different styles of the game are meshing together here. We have the rush from Phoenix, not able to overcome the counter composition, but even in the mirror on Control Center, we had Hyperion coming out on top again. I think it, again, is right off of the back of the King. In a lot of those fights, he was able to generate tire before his counterpart, and the way that he utilized it in his target focus was definitely centered around the Baptiste and the backline. And once that backline is gone, once you remove that sort of sustained healing from the composition from Brawl, it makes it a lot easier to win those fights over time.
Absolutely.
Looks like we're going to Junkertown for our next map, however, and I'm not going to be surprised if we see both teams deciding to swap it up. At least for first point, you can definitely get away with Rush and the Brawl compositions from both sides, but going into second and third, you might want to start swapping it up to double shield. You can go double bubble. So many different options, and I'm really interested to see what both teams bring out.
That's very true. I'm interested as well, especially considering what we saw today in Overwatch League. I don't know if any of our viewers caught the opening day of Overwatch League as well, but one thing that stood out to me was there was a lot more double bubble being played than I had anticipated, and I wonder if we're going to see any kind of if we're going to see any influence of that in tonight's games. If teams are going to say like, oh yeah, maybe we should run that a little bit more, or if they're going to stick to what's tried and true for them in their practices.
I personally think that healing will make the difference on this map. Running someone that can put out a lot of healing output like BAP will make the huge difference, especially with that immortality if you can use it right.
I have to agree. There are some specific corners on first and third point in particular where Baptiste, his lamp, it really needs to be in the perfect spot. If you aren't able to land it in a position that's well protected and well surrounded by shields and natural terrain, you're going to have to give up a lot of that space that you've taken From the defending side, if they're not running Baptiste, I'm really interested to see what supports they run instead. You can run something like a Zen Mercy combination if you want to go for more poke with the snipers and with a Sigma, maybe a ball even. There's so many different choices, and I just can't wait to get into the map to see what they decide to go with.
Absolutely. And trying to check in with the production booth here. Yeah, it looks like the teams may be ready soon.
We're going to have to see if Phoenix can bounce back from that first map loss. Maybe we see a different look out of them outside of Rush. I'd like to note that Nat on Hitscan was actually doing a really, really good job in that last map. It was just really difficult to overcome how much damage the Flex CPS on Hyperion was able to put out, the King. And, seeing the interaction between these two players in particular as it plays out over the rest of this match is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, thinking about the King and trying to counter them, if you're Phoenix, maybe you do pull out double shield here and go with a couple hit scans, try and pick that Pharah out of the sky. Although what we've seen is that King can also flex pretty well to Junkrat, so who knows, maybe that isn't a solution. Excited to find out.
Llama, what do you think is going to happen next between these two teams? Do you think there's going to be a change in momentum here? Do you think that Hyperion can come through with the Rush comp again? Or do you think that Phoenix is going to come out on top?
It's really hard to say. I'm going to have to take a quick look at the comps first. If we have the King back on that fire, who's to know what's going to happen? He absolutely dominated on that fire, and it didn't seem like Phoenix could do anything about that. We could also see some bunker comps, maybe a sniper too. Get a wiggle for the picks. It's really hard to say what's going to happen. This map can be played so many different ways. It's incredible.
All right, and we're back into it. Here we go. Gonna get some of these questions answered soon.
And something I want to talk about very briefly before we get into the action here is the sort of evolution that teams can go through throughout maps. There's no set compositions that you have to stick with for the entirety of this map. And, seeing the different swaps come out over time is something that I really enjoy watching between teams like this. Little adaptations that they make in composition and playstyle over time.
Absolutely.
The team that is playing on defense has to sort of pick something that makes sense for more than just first point. You can't be making swaps and coming in at an ult disadvantage for the next portion of the map. So for them to come out here on Brawl on defense is a total confidence, a statement of confidence that they believe that Brawl is the best choice for this map.
That's true, and I believe it's also a statement that Brawl is the best choice for the team. I know this team is a big fan of Brawl, and so they believe in it. They're going to keep running it, keep making it work.
I'm very excited to see the Widowmakers coming out. It is going to be a matter of who can get the best picks. I'm quite excited to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. We got the King on Hanzo. Let's see. We haven't seen him on a sniper yet, so let's see how this goes.
Both teams opting into the double sniper. We already have a pick. Oki getting two double shots in a row on Vic, and another shot on the Beast. That's another numbers advantage for the side of Phoenix. Hyperion, and Lexi looking for the side angle here, trying to find Nat in the sky. Looks like they grapple up. Seven Maple's getting a huge pick on Oakley. That's another sniper down. And Hyperion struggling to find a foothold here. They're going to have to back up with this numbers disadvantage. Stuffin Things decides to go in with a Discord on him, and it's a little difficult to stay up that far with a Zen bearing down on you all that damage. Lexi gets demexed. They're popped out. They're going to go down on cart, and this is a clear fight win for Phoenix.
Absolutely. And Stuffin Things is still playing pretty far up. Oh, Lissaru goes down from Nat. Yep, and there goes Stuffin Things.
Right now, it seems to me like Phoenix's snipers are getting the edge over Hyperion's 2 times in a row now. While that huge pick from Oakley to start the fight off on the Mercy and the Zen was really great to see, it didn't last long enough for the tanks to capitalize on it. Had they walked forward a little faster, maybe they would have been able to do something more. But right now, they're just having to reset and come back in here.
That's true. The best they can do is regroup and go again. The King looking for some early picks, waiting for the rest of the team to come in. Stuff gets hooked right off the bat by Hog, but CS goes down from the King. Stuffin Things is just on a tear through their backline, going after the Sigma now, but is he going to go off the map? He goes off the map. That's going to be the end of his reign of terror, but looks like he did enough. The rest of the rest of his team is going to clean up.
At the start of the map, getting that Mercy res out of the way super early was really good by the opposing team. It made a huge difference in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big thing that they can't rely on. It's almost like you're going into a match 6v7 instead of 6v6.
Both Widows opting to pop their walls early here. It's typically something you want to trade. Lexi, they're going on 7 Maples, but the Beast is there to back him up. CSPPP gets stunned by the Earth Shatter, the Dragons to follow up. That's 2 instant kills, and the res is going to have to come through here. Can he get it off? Yes, he does. Lexi barely unable to interrupt it. And Oki gets another pick on Nat, and it seems like Hyperion is actually able to come back into this fight, even with that Valk res.
Yeah, they really have. They've been able to stabilize and seemingly figure out what Phoenix is throwing at him, at least temporarily. Do you think we're going to see any swaps? Because Oakley's making a case for himself on Widow right now, saying, "No, you can't come out of that. You can't come out of spawn right now."
He might be putting up an MVP performance right here. They finally decided to push him on that off angle, but 7 Maples has gone too far. Lexi, they're able to punish his poor positioning, and CS has to back up as well. The Beast is kind of caught out, able to fly away. Vic getting taken out on that off angle from the King, and it's another fight win for Hyperion after what seemed like a really dominant start from Phoenix.
It did seem like a very dominant start, and look at how far back now Hyperion has been able to push the cart. Like, they're practically back to the bridge at this point. That's a statement right there.
I'm still wondering if we are going to see any DPS switches come up here. It is very back and forth. This can really go any way. Going into the second round.
The Dragon comes in from 7 Maples, trying to just reposition Oakley on that high ground, but he just goes to that other window. He says, "Nice Dragon, I'm going to stand right here instead." Lexi at half HP, barely able to get out from 7 Maples' pressure. Another nice res coming out from the Beast here.
Oh my gosh, Stuff gets a huge charge on the Widow. Dropping back to point, swinging his hammer. He's going to catch the Mercy out.
Oh, the 3-man shatter!
Big shatter! Cleanup time, and that is going to be it for the first half of this match.
And our questions have definitely been answered. It seems like Brawl just manages to stay alive, even through all of those sniper picks coming out from Phoenix, time after time, even with the reses too. They were just able to take the tempo advantage away from Phoenix every time they got that pick and equalize immediately. Some key beats coming out from Lissaru.
Absolutely, and it looks to me like because of the support stuff, he's just able to swing his hammer wherever he wants. He was covering the flank, taking care of the Hog and the Hanzo. He was going after the Widow in Phoenix's backline. Like, that's not stuff you normally see out of Orion unless you're LH Cloudy. So props to Stuff there, and for the support keeping him up.
Oakley had a very good round. He got those key picks, absolutely amazing. Fantastic job to Oakley that round. But all 4 of the DPS did absolutely great.
I have to agree, but again, the snipers from the side of Hyperion are able to defeat the other enemy snipers that even have a Mercy pocket, which you gotta say, that is huge coming out from them. If they're able to win those sniper duels against a Mercy pocketed sniper, it's a huge tempo shift. And those reses are in positions that are really difficult to get off as well. So you just see Hyperion coming through with their... Hyperion coming through and able to win that fight with what seems like sort of just stealing their composition away from the enemy side. Phoenix is known for running the rush comps, and right now it seems like Hyperion is able to get the advantage.
Oh, and we're seeing a close hold here from Phoenix. That's probably because they realize that Hyperion doesn't have very far to push the cart if they're going to take this next W. And Lexi getting a big pick off early on the main tank. Nat coming in, though, and saying, we're going to even it up with a pick on your sniper, though.
Double sniper compositions are very effective when it comes to holding close. However, you don't see too many comps that involve having a Widow coming right out of spawn with a Hanzo that are able to defeat this Mei holding close. And it's really just about burning as much time as possible on the side of Phoenix so that you can try to have the chance of coming back here. They only get a minute off, and it seems like it's not going to be enough with how much momentum Hyperion is coming into this next fight with.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point. And if we're looking at ult economy as well, it looks to me like Yeah, it looks to me like Hyperion's
no.
ahead there. Oh, 2 big picks early.
Stuffing things, just trying to line up that shatter, and he lands it. He gets 3 down. Max 35 goes down immediately. Felix with the follow-up window, and the CS gets demeched on cart. It's lights out for Phoenix as Hyperion clears out everybody else. They're going to push it to that golden box of victory, and they take the convincing 2-0 lead.
Now, while the first map looked like it was a little bit closer, I'd have to say that Hyperion really put out a dominant performance here. And if Phoenix is going to have a shot next match, I think they're going to have to mix things up quite a bit. They need to figure something out. They either make some character swaps, or they need to switch who they're focusing or something. There's that one of those huge shatters we saw from Stuff. One to close out their defense. And look at that, 4 cards from Hyperion for this map. Again, just I think reinforcing that Phoenix is going to have to up their game after this one if they're hoping to come back and make something of this.
In the variety of compositions that we've seen so far, Phoenix has definitely opted into this brawl comp pretty much every single time, excluding their defense there, their attack on Junkertown. But regardless of what composition they've been on, it seems like Hyperion is just able to get the better of them in each individual role, in particular the DPS. Oakley and the King have been doing a lot of work on snipers, on flex DPS, on pretty much everything that you can imagine under the sun, and I don't know what Phoenix is going to be able to do to come back from this.
Yeah, me either. One of the other things that I think we haven't had a chance to really talk about is that Hyperion has a deeper roster too. So if they run into trouble, if somebody is having a bad night or something, they can swap out. But we're not really, I think, going to see that from the side of Phoenix. As far as I know, they've only got a 6-man roster.
I think there's not room for any subs coming in here for one of these teams. Going back to the DPS, Oakley and the King have been doing so much work these past 2 maps. It's absolutely incredible. Phoenix does have to find something they can do about them too. No matter how many picks that Phoenix tend to get on the tanks, there's still nothing they can do to defeat Oakley and the King.
And, we've been giving a ton of credit to Hyperion's DPS line, deservedly so, but we have to also look at those tanks and supports. It seems like Stuff and Things has been getting the better of Max 35 in almost every single Rhine duel so far, and you love to see it landing those huge shatters, able to set up his team for victory on both attack and defense on that last Junkertown map.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's sometimes it's hard to tell. Is the tank dominance a reflection of the tank play, or is it a reflection of the support line behind them? In either case, whatever it is, Hyperion definitely seems to have that working for them.
The heals
Felix Penguin. Go ahead.
The heals have been absolutely amazing as well. It's incredible to see how much healing those BAPs are doing on either team. And I just think we're in for a really good map 3.
And for map 3, we will be going to Hollywood, it appears. So that's going to be the choice coming in from Phoenix. So what do you think? Are we going to see any more variety out of these teams in terms of the comps, or I think with Hyperion, we're going to see Brawl until probably until the end of the broadcast. But from Phoenix, do you try something different? Do you try double bubble here? And for those who aren't familiar, double bubble, that's when you run a Winston and a Zarya together.
Well, there's a lot of verticality on both first, second, and third point here. From the defense's perspective, you have a lot of choices to roll out on, and with Hyperion having this much momentum going into the third map, I don't expect them to play anything besides Brawl. And since Phoenix is on attack here to start, they have the choice to come out on one composition that might not be the one that they settle on, right? They can try to take a risk. They can try to do something different than what they've been doing. Maybe they come out with a Pharah or an Echo, get off of that Brawl composition with maybe like a Sigma and a Ball. But there's, again, a lot of different decisions that they can make, but they need to switch something up to change the trajectory of this match.
Absolutely. And I think the place they have to start is by somehow neutralizing Hyperion's DPS. So let's see what they've got in store for us this time around.
We could possibly see a reverse sweep here come from Phoenix. You never know. Anything is possible at this point. They are still learning each other's gameplay, and it seems to be getting a little bit closer every time.
going into this next point here, I'd like to see Phoenix make some big adjustments to not just the composition, but their playstyle. It really does seem like their tanks are a little bit slower to start those engages after they get those key picks. You know, we saw on their attack on Junkertown, they got some really nice headshot kills onto both of their snipers. Without the res coming in from the side of Hyperion, they were just not able to take that space after they get those picks too. And, you know, on that recontest, it really does tend to favor the brawl composition, which is what Hyperion decided to opt into on the recontest. And, well, here we are. It looks like Hyperion has decided not to play full rush. They're going with a Pharah comp on defense.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they know how well Pharah and the King worked on Pharah previously, and Oakley's on a sniper. I think this looks like a winning combination, unless, you know, maybe CS can disrupt those DPS. Let's find out.
The King did put in so much work on the first map with that Pharah. Oakley did lots of work with the sniper as well. They are both playing to their strengths here, but we do see the other team coming in with the McCree. Let's see if that McCree can do anything about this Pharah.
Phoenix is able to rotate to that high ground. They're able to get a nice sort of stun on a Stuff and Things, and he goes down immediately, not in the resible position if they manage to hold it. And Vic almost about to get caught out. Barely, oh no, they get picked off right at the last moment from Oakley. And Oakley's about to start going on a tear now that there's no Diva mech, and the King already has his ultimate. It's over for Phoenix.
Yep, they are sent back to spawn to try again. Now, this would be the time that you make swaps, I think, if you're going to make them. You know, now you've seen what they're running, you've seen whether or not it's going to work, and you can make that decision. And
there's a moment of weakness that they can take advantage of. However, Lexi has to go back into spawn to swap heroes to get their mech back before they come back to the point. And if they're aware of this, they're able to take a 5v6 fight quickly, but I don't know if they know it. And the King already started the fight with 2 picks. That is massive. They already have to run away.
Maywall coming up, but it doesn't matter. They're going to be sent once again packing back to spawn to try again. And yeah, it looks like Lexi, they had no problem getting back to point with that Diva because the King took care of things once again.
The King is building up ult so fast in these maps. It's incredible. That Rocket Barrage really did win them that point. Absolutely incredible gameplay. Going through those stairways is very dangerous for them because of the amount of spam that the King can put out. It'll just get him to build his ult faster and be able to use that barrage twice as fast.
Alright, next fight is starting. Looks like Phoenix is pushing in. They're gonna try to rotate high ground again. It looks like that's what they're thinking. We've got a
Oh, the King makes a massive aggressive play onto the Ashe Mercy combo in the backline. Listener going to have to try to get that res, and CS is really close. Maybe they can get that pick. Listener does have the Valk available. Is they're going to get out? Oakley manages to get 2 on the back of that, and although Listener does die, it's not even remotely close for Phoenix.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough to turn the tides. Although it looks to me as if Phoenix is slowly starting to figure out where the chinks in the armor of Hyperion are, where they can take advantage of mistakes. They're getting every fight so far this map, they've gotten 1 or 2 more picks. So let's see if they've built up enough now. Early window comes out from the side of Phoenix. Stuff and Things is caught out to the side, but he swings his hammer, and with the damage coming in from DPS, does enough to get 2 picks, and looks like a 3rd coming out on CS pretty soon. Looks like they're going to try and stagger them on point as well. Yeah, that's going to be rough.
It's a bit of a mistimed rotation from the side of the Ashe Mercy. They decide to peek main while they drop the window on the right side. And the fact that they split up their threats while Stuff and Thing gets another pick on the back
that is a
at the end of that fight.
Yeah, massive fire strike. He had another one earlier or no, that was Max. There've been a couple good fire strikes. Max had another good fire strike on the King earlier.
And we're approaching last fight territory here. Phoenix has to reach deep into those ult pockets to find something that can try and win this first fight, just to capture this first point. Right now, Hyperion is putting up a strong showing against this team.
They are, maybe 7 Maples can come in and throw. Oh no, it looks like are we gonna get a Shatter Bomb? Nope. Bomb doesn't get anything. Shatter comes in, it's blocked by Max. Stuff and Things charging back to point. Dragon's coming through from Phoenix onto point. Looks like we're getting, looks like we've got a pick. We've got 2 early picks from Phoenix. Looks like they might cap this first point. There's still life left in this team. They can't pull this around. Maybe this is the start of the reverse sweep.
Too close to the sun, hey.
Great use of ults by Phoenix there. It was an absolute shot of desperation. The Bob was perfectly placed. The Diva Bomb, amazing. Same with the Hanzo Dragons. It definitely won them that point. There was not really much the other team could do about those.
Right now, there's a bit of an advantage on the side of Hyperion with CS not being in his mech. He has a little bit more to go before he gets it. If Hyperion are able to recognize this, the King can go for a huge barrage on this off angle here. He's looking for it on the side, but he gets picked by 7 Maples. A nice headshot from the Hanzo on the side of Phoenix, and Lisaru cannot res.
Shatter coming in, doesn't catch anybody. There's a bomb, doesn't catch anyone either. Stuffing things coming up soon on his Shatter. We've also got a barrage coming in from King whenever he gets back to point. You know, they got a few picks, but there hasn't been a whole lot of progress made on the card yet. Both rides swinging at each other. Both getting low, and it looks like Phoenix is coming out on top on this one as well. They're getting they're starting to build some momentum, I think.
Some signs of life from the sides of Phoenix, and you love to see it after 2 maps where it's not even, you know, it's not that close. There were some signs of life from the DPS on Phoenix, and now that the whole team is firing on all cylinders, I'm really happy to see how much progress they're making on the second point here on Hollywood. And going into this next fight, they do have a lot of ultimates to work with, coming up on 5, almost 6 with that window being close by 2.
Ooh, early bomb coming out. Looks like it's gonna... it catches 2. It catches both supports on the side of Hyperion. And I think this card is gonna keep on moving for Phoenix. Stuff gets very, very low. Has to go get a Mega. Max with the counter charge. And 7 Maples coming in with the cleanup on the side of Phoenix.
I have no idea.
Looks like a different team all of a sudden.
I have no idea what happened to Phoenix here, but they just absolutely turned things around. Just absolutely cleaning up at this point.
The momentum is shifting, but the King says no. He gets a massive barrage, and the fight is pretty much already over. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock, and with CSV Mech, they're gonna stagger him forever.
Yeah, how... You know, can anyone get back? Are we gonna see swaps to some stall characters? Are we gonna see a ball come out? Are we gonna see? I don't know. We've got the Diva. Oh, we do see a Tracer. Yep, there's the ball. Tracer's coming out to try and touch.
Vic and 7 Maples look at this position underneath the cart. They throw the Bob at the cart to try to dissuade the contest. It gets 7 Maples immediately, and Felix has a great window on that high ground. All the ults coming out from Hyperion just when they need to, and Lexi throwing their bomb right over top just to close it up.
Yeah, and that is going to be it for Phoenix's offense. But I gotta say, they got a lot more than I think any of us here thought they would at first, and I'm happy to see it. Happy to see them pull it together.
Phoenix did have quite a good push after that first point. In a moment of pure desperation, popping, I believe it was 4 ults just to get that point. Then they just started rolling from there. But unfortunately, the King started the shutdown with that big ult. Absolutely beautiful display.
7 Maples honestly has been showing a lot more DPS prowess on this third map now that we've sort of taken stock of that first push. Coming into that second point, he was able to get 3 key picks in a row that set up 2 fight wins, basically all on his own. And you know, I think they're starting to play to this win condition. Phoenix is starting to play away from Brawl and trying to opt into a different comp now. And, you know, I think it is actually kind of working. After going away from Brawl and going into this more Mercy-oriented composition, even with that Rhine Diva still on the field, and the BAP to prop them up, the Mercy is able to support the DPS and help them win those duels on the other side.
Absolutely, and now here's something interesting. We're seeing 7 Maples come out on a Soldier this time, so I think they're looking to probably hold this high ground pretty tight. Yep, when we've got Max up there as well. I think they're anticipating the rotation to the high ground from Hyperion.
We see the King on the fire again. We already know what he can do on this hero. Let's see if he can repeat it again.
Oh wow! An early turnaround from the side of Phoenix, getting a huge pick on that Baptiste. Lisaru has to go in with her res, and she's able to get it. Felix is going to be alive for the ensuing fight, while Lexi, they're going up to that high ground to cover that body. No res coming in from the side of Vic, and the King is looking for more. He gets another huge pick on Nat. Vic has to look for a res earlier. This fight's already going to be over.
Yeah, this is true, and I don't think Vic is in any position to get it. He's got to keep his Reinhardt up, who was just recently on fire and is now at about half health. Immortality comes out, but Max gets a big picks onto Felix Penguin. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Looks to me as if Hyperion is still going to take this, especially with the res coming out now on Felix. So the best Phoenix can hope to do is to set up for the long hold in streets.
Seven Maple's taking a lot of poke damage before the fight starts. He's able to get supported by the Beast. While the King flies up, he's looking for more spam on that high ground. If he's able to push them off early, he can really start this fight off, but Listeru dying early makes it a lot more difficult to stay up there. He's still trying to, and in this 5v6 coming up here, I think Phoenix has a really good chance to win. Nat is able to get another huge kill on the King. The Pharah Mercy combo is completely removed, and it looks like the rest of Hyperion has to back away.
Yeah, they're just going to have to try again. It looks like, you know, maybe second point is maybe streaks are key for Phoenix here. Who knows?
Seven Maple's getting his visor online. If he's able to combo with the Beast with that visor window combination, it looks like he doesn't even need to. Nat, she's winning that duel easily, and the King's Barrage finally gets no value. They're able to matrix it out, and this is another 4v6 where it seems like Phoenix is finally getting another foothold.
Yeah, it really does, and it seems to be on the back of right now at least, Seven Maples keeping the King at bay, keeping that Pharah out of the skies. Ooh, Max going really, really low there, but gets healed up by his team.
That was a big switch by Seven Maples, switching to that Soldier 76, because he is just putting in that damage to the Pharah and basically making that Pharah completely useless.
Yeah, so much so that the King has opted to swap onto Hanzo now. So this is interesting. And this, I think, is the first time we've seen him have to switch off that Pharah.
Max does a Hail Mary shatter on the back end of that fight, and the Beast has to throw his lamp to make sure he can get away from it. This is a very split setup coming up from Phoenix, and Hyperion are very easily able to capitalize on it. But CS coming back in with the bomb, able to take out the King. Listeru looking for that res in the Valk.
The cart only making a little bit of progress right now. Stuffing things alone on cart, though. Max looks like he can probably push this. Tac visor coming out from the side of Seven Maples. And a buff somewhere near the point.
Lexi's positioning on the side. They're trying to push that bomb off to blow it up. Were they ready for it? No, they were not. They take out Seven Maples and barely DMAX CS on the back side of it. So many reses, so much chaos coming out in the middle of this fight. Who's going to come out on top?
I have no idea, but the King is making a case for it to be Hyperion, picking off Nat now. Max coming off, though, with another big fire strike into Oakley. Cart's making more progress. All that Phoenix can do at the moment is back up and hope their teammates get back in time.
Oh,
for them to hold.
The King gets a nice headshot on Seven Maples and gets the lamp out in an unresable position. They use that window to maintain the space. Another fire strike coming through that window, dealing so much damage. The King has to fall back to that high ground and make sure that he doesn't get killed. Nat, she's really low, gets picked off on the side, but Max has something to say about it. He says, time to make this main tank difference. He gets a huge three-man shatter. Listeru, Felix, they're all going to go down. And Lexi, they're just left to watch as the rest of their team falls apart around them.
Yeah, and looks like we've got another stronghold from Phoenix coming in here.
This has been a beautiful display from both teams on this map. Way better than the first two maps we've seen, where it was honestly basically just one way. Both teams are hanging in there. They're fighting, trying to show that they are the more dominant team in this situation.
I'm really happy to see Max finally coming alive in this Ryan v Ryan duel. He's not getting nearly as many resources as Stuff and Things because he doesn't have that Lucio behind him to speed him around. But he doesn't care. He's pinning Stuff and Things. He's shattering 3 people at a time and carrying his team.
Absolutely. And now, you know, a big difference I'm noticing too is we're seeing a lot of swaps on the side of those DPS. Bombs coming through. Charge. Not sure to where from Max, but it looks like they might pick off Stuff and Things up top. No, Nat goes down early to the King.
Block. It looks like nobody's focusing on card.
Max finally notices, drops down. And the King getting a big pick on the Beast. That's a lot of healing that that front line doesn't have anymore. That front line for Phoenix, Max going down quickly. It's all that Mercy can do to try and keep him up, but it's not going to be enough.
look at Oakley. He's returned on this Widowmaker. He's finally taking stock of the field here, trying to get some headshots, but it looks like he doesn't even need to. The brawl composition from Hyperion is doing too much work against this poke. Vic and the Beast can only watch as the cart rolls forward. Max trying to come back for that stall, but the bomb will prevent it, and it's over. 3-0 for Hyperion.
Congratulations, Hyperion. I'd say a pretty dominant showing from that team. Phoenix did well. They showed signs of life that last match and a little bit too on Lijiang Tower, but I think this one goes it goes very convincingly to Hyperion.
This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. After they got stuck in that doorway, there was nothing really they could do. Just the King building that ult so fast and being able to pop this so early. Absolutely shut
a massive
down the
performance.
attack.
A massive performance from the Flex DPS on the side of Hyperion. And you gotta say, in the MVP race, I'm looking directly at him for the first spot.
Yep,
As am I.
I think we all are. The King showed why he deserves his title today. I think he was the difference maker in more fights than just about than anyone else in this match.
You know, Hyperion is really backing up those results that they were able to receive in the Owlet Miners 3.5 regular season, placing first in the regular season, third, fourth in playoffs. With a performance like that, it's easy to see why they were able to easily beat Phoenix. And, you know, I want to give a lot of credit to Phoenix for being able to still stay in it for that third map. They were able to finally get some ground back and make it pretty close, but Hyperion with a dominant performance today.
Absolutely.
It looks like we may be dragging Penguin in for an interview after the short break. And we will get to hear what he has to say about these past 3 maps.
Yeah, Felix Penguin being one of the flex supports for Hyperion. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see to ask him, say see if their job was hard or if they just kind of got to sit back and watch their team, watch their frontline and their TPS clinch things.
The first round of the first map on Lijiang Tower was absolutely dominated, not even being able to get 1% on that point.
And it looks like we're going to be going to a break before we get an interview with Felix Penguin on the side of Hyperion after their 3-0 victory. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back with a post-game interview with Felix Penguin after a dominant 3-0 victory against Phoenix. The flex support from Hyperion putting up a great showing. How are you feeling after that match?
Pretty good.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Juggle, do you have anything to ask him?
Yeah, I wanted to know, did you all start to get worried during that last map in Hollywood when Phoenix really started to show some sign of life, show some signs of life, and push you a little bit more? What was going on in comms with you guys when when they started to show a little bit more sign of life?
We just started playing like less aggressively, knowing that we would be punished for it. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
And one of the interesting things we noticed is that there were a lot of swaps that came out during Hollywood. Was that in response to something specific on the side of Phoenix?
Well, like when we swapped off Ash, that was just because like they were getting picked off a lot and not really getting much done. But like, did we swap anything? Oh, right, the fire to the Hanzo. I think.
Yeah. Now, as a support player, were you how hard was your job? Was it easy keeping your tanks up this match, or were you having to sweat it out?
Not bad. Pretty easy. Like they weren't getting Maywalled that often, so and there weren't that many flankers most of the time, so pretty easy.
Going into the first map, did you guys have a certain strategy that you had figured out before the match started, or was it more of just a wing it and see how it goes?
Well, like generally we just play a bit slower, trying to let our Pharah get some work done before we go in.
And
Were you
to
guys
follow up on that, did you know about Phoenix's propensity towards playing rush a lot of the time, and did you kind of understand that going into this match, and did you have this sort of Pharah pocket pick prepared for it, or was it just sort of serendipitous?
No, we just play a lot of Pharah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And
I think that was clear from the King's play too.
Yeah.
he's very proficient on that hero for sure. One more question from me. You were playing in season 3.5. You had a really good showing in the regular season, coming out in first, and in playoffs you got third, fourth. But did that give you a lot of preparation for this main season? And what lessons did you take away from that season into this fourth one?
I wasn't actually on the team for those seasons. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, it clearly seems like the rest of the team around you has a lot of synergy in playing, both into this rush comp and into like a mirror sort of poke composition. Where do you see your guys' skill ceiling? Do you think you guys can make it to the top of the league?
I think so. Yeah. As long as we
Awesome.
keep. Yeah.
And standard last question: is there anybody that you are eager to play against in these upcoming matches?
Not really.
One
That's
more
totally
question
cool.
coming from me is, how were the nerves before the first match started? Was everybody a little bit nervous? Was everybody feeling quite calm?
Pretty calm. Like, as long as we're not half asleep, we normally play pretty well. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, clearly you guys were wide awake in this one.
Yeah.
And is that it for questions here?
I think that does it for me. Congratulations again on a very dominant victory.
thank you.
Yeah, with the end of that interview, that'll be the end of today's match with Hyperion versus Phoenix. Hyperion coming out in a dominant 3-0 fashion, and we'll be very excited to see where those two teams end up. We got one more match on Sunday, and we hope that you guys manage to tune in for that one. It'll be a banger for sure. And I think that'll be it for our broadcast. Is that correct?
I think so. Thank you very much. This has been Juggle God,
I'm Momentous.
I'm Llama.
and thank you for turning into Owlet Season 4.